so this today's session it will be on continuation for, with the table calculations and sessions that we are having from the past. So today we'll explore some hands-on activities on the Windows functions. Okay, so you already we actually had some of the hands-on activity on table calculations. I think after session 2 or something, today we'll explore this table calculation functions, especially Windows functions and how these window functions can be used and etc. First 2-3 activities will be like a kind of recap of what we have done. Then we'll get into the new stuff. So this first activity, if you can see on the screen, it's just the visualization that I have is a simple visualization. Let me actually hide this thing. Yeah. So this will stop. Yeah. So if you see here, I have my date column on the x-axis and my sales on y-axis. So it just gives me a sales trend for every month. Now what I want is I just want a moving average of my sales value. So as I progress across my x-axis, my whatever the values that I have, I should get an average for that. So if I have, when I go to March, I should get average for these three, and likewise. It's called a moving average. It's a straightforward thing. So I'll just drop my sales in here as a dual axis, and then I'll convert the sales using a quick table calculation. Go to moving average, and I get that. So I can just and all I have to do is go check if my computer using is table across correct. So now I have this value. So this is since I have only one value at this point in time. Okay, I think that's moving average previous to next. Okay, I think it's because of the synchronized axis. So dual axis, synchronized axis, yeah. So if you can see on the orange, we have the actual sales value, and the blue one, which is just the moving average. So at this point in time, it's same because I have only 1 point. And at this point I have 2 points, so I'll take average of these two, and I got something in between here. And likewise, I progress across x-axis, I'll get the average of all the points that I've moved on the x-axis. This is the straightforward one. And in the second activity, what we have here is we can likewise, if we don't want the average for entire trial months that I have. So for example,
Jagdish, shall all of us do it because it's hands-on?
So I don't think you would have if you have a workbook open, we can try it, no problem. So I mean, if you have Tableau open, we can try it.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm just getting my stuff done. Maybe I think everyone can do it, so that because that's the value of hands-on, right?
Okay.
So so you guys have Tableau ready, or you guys need to open it up?
I have to open it up.
Okay, I think let all of us open it up. In the meanwhile, I think maybe Jagdish, you can continue so that you don't lose time.
Yeah. So do you need some time, 2 minutes, or is it okay if I continue? Right.
Okay, if you can give time, that would be great too.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
It's,
I think we will pause recording for now.
Okay, so in this activity, the task is, so just open a particular sheet and make this graph. So order date at a month level, okay, at this month level. So this is continuous date value instead of date part, and then just drop sales into rows. So we'll get a some line graph like this. So once you have this line graph, your task is to create another line graph on the same graph. Another line on the same graph which shows you the average of previous 3 months and the next 2 months. For example, if I am, let's say, if I am on this point, when I'm looking at this point, so my previous 3 months including would be so this month and this month, so and this month and the next 2 months, so maybe this one and this one likewise. So the average of all these three should be the new value for this month in the new line graph. Is that clear?
Yeah, for me it's clear. So anyway, I think you go ahead, complete this. I'll ask you a different question once you're done with explaining.
Okay, yeah, got it. So so the same thing. So as we did for moving average, what I'll do is I'll just bring my sales into a new line, and I'll go and I need a moving average. So I'll go to add table calculation, moving calculation, use the function as average. I want average, and I want previous 3 weeks, previous 3 months, and the next two values. Use the current value and make sure it's calculated table across and table across. And once I have my line, so for example, if I just click labels, yeah, at this point in time it's showing 229,736. So it's just the, since I don't have any previous values here, it's just the average of this one and this one. That should be this value likewise. So all I can do is I just dual axis and synchronize axis. I get this line. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. It's a pretty straightforward one. We already did it. Chaitanya, you said you have some question.
So yeah, the question was, see, basically, I was just trying to think of the use case you had in mind when you would basically have a moving average for the last 3 months and the next 2 months. Typically, it's trailing, right? So I'm just trying to understand. Any use case that you had in mind when you said last 3 months and the next 2 months?
No, not particularly in mind, but there will be cases. I'm currently not aware, not able to give you an example, but it may not be exactly these numbers like previous 3 and next 2, but it could be like, hey, I just want an average for the last 3 months.
Yeah. So the last 3 months is clear because you typically have trailing 12 months or whatever. Trailing 3 months, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But usually it's not looking forward. But anyway, I thought maybe if you had something in mind. But go ahead, please.
Yeah. So just so we will understand the function capabilities a little bit more. So I just put that next. But
okay.
Very rarely we'll use the next in normally calculating using a moving calculations.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so then we have a similar one. So here we did calculation from previous 3 months to next 2 months. So here it's almost a similar one. What you have to do is from previous 4 months to previous 2 months. So you can just pass in the same calculation field. If I open quick table calculation, moving average, and edit table calculation, I can just change those numbers from previous 4 months to previous 2 months. So it will give you for a particular month, it will give you the average for these 2 values. So leaving the 1 month behind, so it will give you the average for these 2 at this point in time. So again, it's just to let you know that you can use whatever the offset that you want at any point in time. It need not be always till that point where you are or ahead of time. So That's a pretty straightforward one. And coming to this particular task here, we would want so let me actually do this as well. So uh, we we have seen different types of moving average calculations. For example, in in activity 1, we have seen a moving average that goes across the x-axis. In example 2, we saw a moving average that comes from previous 3 months to next 2 months, and here we have seen from previous 4 months to previous 2 months. So for example, if a client wants something like a control, so like whatever the average that he wants to, at what range he wants to look at. So for example, when he wants to look at from average from last 2 months, we can use the parameters in Tableau and to get that done. So how we can do this, I'll just create a parameter, show parameter. Okay, let's parameter. So I'll just create a parameter, and if you remember the values that we gave for example in the moving average calculations, which is the offset. So for example, if I have to go for last 2 months, I know my offset should be -2. Last quarter means I should go -3 months. Last 6 months in -6 months. So I'll create a value something like this, and I will use this parameter in my calculation. So for example, let me I've already created the calculation. Average edit. So what I'll do is window average. So I know I have to get the average at a window level, and my window average should work on this particular field, sum of sales, and my window is defined from say the parameter value that which I give and the current value. So for example, when I select last 6 months, this value will automatically be updated to -6. So it will go average, it will take an average from my last 6 months to the current time. And when I select it for 2 months, it will go average from last 2 months to current time. So we can use even parameters into the moving calculation functions as to give it as an offset. So when I drag it here and make it dual axis, synchronize axis. And yeah, so if I change this from last 2 months, my averages will change, and last quarter, and likewise. So basically this is to let you know that you can use parameters as well in these functions, window functions, to provide the offsets, the start and the end values.
So just a quick thing, how did you link that the parameter to that sales moving average?
We calculated we calculated a field called sales moving average.
Correct.
This holds the window average function. And if you would remember the syntax of the window average function, it takes to apart from this
so select time range is the parameter that you created, right? Okay, got it.
Yes,
okay, understood.
This is the time.
So select, okay. Just can you go into edit of sales time range, select time range, please?
Yes.
Okay.
So these are the offsets that we are providing.
Integer. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay.
So when we select for last 2 as parameter, it will automatically change the offset to -2 in the calculated field.
Got it. Okay, understood. Clear. Okay, great. Perfect.
So that's as far as this particular activity. And then we have so window functions and lookup functions. These functions can also be used to act like a filter. For example, let's say we have a simple visualization here. Okay, we have region-wise sales split up. Now I just want to show one particular sales. So for example, I just only want to not show, but kind of get the comparison with the East region sales alone. We know we can do this many other ways as well. But we'll see how we can do that using window functions. Okay. Now let's say I've created a field. Let me just open that. Region filter sales. before that, let me actually put these things so you'll understand better. Yeah, and then window. Let me open calculator field. Okay. Now my task here is to get a particular region sales as a new column. For example, if I say I want East sales alone, I want this 678, 781 to be populated for all the rows. So how can I achieve that using window function? I know I have these different window functions, and I'll use window average for the time being, and my expression should be sum of sales. So I'll use that. Now I have start and end, and now I have to play with these two things to get my East value. So for example, now what is my what do I want? I want East sales value in each of the rows. How are my first and last values are changing? So when I'm in the first row, my first value is 0, my last value is 3. But when I'm in first row, I should reference to my second row. So that means this particular offset, my start should be from +1. So when I'm in first row, my value is 0, so I should start from +1 row, and I should end at +1 itself, because if I go for let's say if I take these two values, then my window average will take average of these two. But if I somehow restrict this window average function to take only this value alone, then window average of the single value would be average this value alone. So I have to somehow restrict my function to get only this value. So I have to, and the way I can restrict that is using this start and end value. So when I am on central region, when I'm on 0th row, my start should be here East, and my end should be East alone. So my for the start and end for 0 central row should be 1, and end should be let me actually do that. So start should be first plus first plus 1 and first plus okay. Now if you see these two things here, first plus 1 is my start field for each of these rows. So when I'm on central row, my first value is 0, but since I've given +1 here, it will take a start value as 0 plus 1 is 1. So it will automatically come to East, and it will start my calculation from here when for 0th row, and where it should end last -2. My last value for 0th row is 3, and it should end at 3 minus 2, which is 1. So it should start from 1, which is here, and end at 1. So basically we are only giving East value to calculate to calculate the moving average. And likewise, if we go to East region, my first value is here -1. Since I have already given first plus 1, it will be 0. So it will start in the same row itself. It will not go to the next row, but it will start in the same row. And last value -2. So we already have in the second row last value as 2. So last -2 would be 0. So it will start from 0 and end from 0. That means in that row itself, it will get the same value. And likewise, when you go down the row, these two start and end fields, now they make sure that whatever the row you go, it will only extract East values in that row. Let's see that. So for example, if I click OK and I put that in table, I only get East sales value. So, and likewise, I can play with those parameters, the start and end value. Let's say if I want instead of East, I want on South, then I'll change these parameters, start and I'm sorry, not parameters, but variables, and let me actually sales. And get some sales first plus 3. I'm sorry, it should be plus 2 and minus 1. So I got my south values alone. So this way I can basically, and I can use this particular field, and I can just subtract from the sales field to get the comparison values as well. For example,
Jagdish,
yes,
I got the first plus 2, but I didn't get why we are doing last minus 2. Because if you see, the last for central is 3 and the last for east is 2. So for when we were going for east, but why we were doing minus 2 there?
okay, let me explain. So we got east sales, right?
Yeah.
Now let me just we used first plus 1 and last minus 2. So these are the start and end values that we are using. Okay, now the way this function works is we already know that. So what it takes is calculate window average of some sales from my starting position to last position for each and every row. Now these are the parameters that I passed. So for central row, what it takes is, okay, I have to calculate an average. I have to start from plus 1 position from this row. So plus 1 position from this row is this row, and I have to end at minus 1, again end at 1 position from this row. So that means 1 position from this row is again this row itself. So I have to start and end on the same row.
Okay.
But here we have I'm starting on 0th row. That means 0 represents the current row itself. So I'm starting from current row and ending on the current row. That means 678. I'll get 678. And here when I'm on south row, I have to go back 1 row. I have to start from minus 1th row position, and I have to end there itself. So I have to start from minus 1. I have to end from end on minus 1. You understood,
so,
right?
I got, so basically the region which you want to show, we need to make sure its start and end goes to 0. So
Yeah.
For example, if I am trying for west, it should be plus 3 and 0. Oh, no. For west, if first plus 3, it would be first plus 3 and last. No?
First plus 3 and
Last would be last.
yeah, let's see that. 725. So that will give us minus 2 and my okay, yeah, so I need to change here. First plus 3 and
Last would be
last. So 0 0. So likewise it will do for every other row.
Okay, got it.
So okay, so so we can get a kind of effect like that, and if I do subtraction, I can just get the comparison between those two as well. Now this is very like a hard coding thing. Like for example, if you have a table like this and we are trying to put in the values like that, it's a hard coding thing. So what we can do is, since we have already seen that we can use parameters inside these window functions, I can create a parameter just like this here: central, east, south, west. Let me actually, since we're running out of time, I'll just show you what I did. I've already created a parameter. Okay, now let me open that parameter and how it looks like. So these are the parameters. For central, I gave the value 0, just as how the row numbers are. East I gave 1 and south 2 and west 3. Now I'm going to use this parameter to create my start and end values dynamically. So now yes, I used that parameter and I created this particular calculated field. If my parameter value is region 0, that means central region, then give me -3. If you would see in the previous calculation, let me open that.
Okay, so your first parameter was a first
Start
and this
value,
is your last
this is
value.
the end value.
Okay.
So based on that, so if I change this, regional n parameter, where is my field that so I think this one, yeah. So when I select central, I'll get the central values, and I just use the comparison columns. Other when I select east, I can make use of parameters to make sure to get these things done. Now this is using window functions, lot of stuff we are doing. So we have to use a parameter, we have to use a calculated function, etc., etc., etc. But we can do that simply using a lookup function. Lookup function doesn't take much effort. So you just type lookup and some sales, okay, some sales, and pass in the first argument plus the parameter that which we created. If you do that, so based on this, I've selected south, it gave me south sales. If I select central, it gives me central sales. So yeah, so these two functions you can use to create those with the help of parameters and etc. You can dynamically produce a column like this to do comparison analysis. Is it clear? Like the only thing I want you to get here is we can use parameters to make some sort of filtering effect on that.
Yeah.
Yes. Akhil, go.
Whatever database on sales, then our parameter will be affected or it will be the same.
Akhil, your audio is a little difficult to understand. What were you saying? Akhil?
So yeah. So if you sort our sum of sales, right? So, if you sort that on based on sum of sales,
yeah,
will our parameter be affected or it will be same?
It will be affected because your position will always. So you took this parameter based on this fixed position. So before you create this parameter, you should make sure that you get the final order that you want, and based on that you have to create all parameter creation and then the calculation. You should first fix your order, then only you can do that. If you change the order,
alternative to avoid that kind of situation.
No, actually, see, the first and last function, they are table calculation functions. Okay, they will be dependent on your view. So if you change the view, the values they produce will change definitely, and you cannot. You will lose track of the values that you have for central. If you sort it, they will change, and then your parameter will remain fixed. It's not a viable solution that way. I don't think you can do that. So first you have to fix your view, then only you have to go to all the table calculation functions. If you fix your table calculation functions, if you again change your view, then you have to go back and make the changes in these functions respectively. I'll take a look at it offline, and I'll come back to you if any such way is possible. But as far as my knowledge, it's not. Okay, and here we have a simple bar graph with the sales in each of these months, and we just want to show like highlight, as the title says, we want to highlight a minimum and maximum sales. So for example, if we see here, it's not sorted and I don't know which one is minimum, which one is maximum. I can say this one is maximum, but if there are any close sales values, then which I won't be able to tell. So what we can do here is I can write make use of these window functions and to get a highlighting effect to highlight the maximum and minimum value. It's a simple logic. If you see here, if the sum of sales value, so this gives us the value in each of the bar, if that is equal to window max of sum of sales. So window max of sum of sales will collect all the bar values and take the maximum of those bar values. If my bar value is equal to maximum of my bar values, give me highest, and else if it is equal to minimum, then give me lowest, and if not, give me others. So I create a calculated field like this that gives me a string value, and I just use that in color. So and it will automatically highlight so what is the lowest value and what is the highest value, and rest all other. And I can just use any other So when I use a region like this, it will split up across each of the sales, and my highlighting still remains for each of those regions. So in each of this region, what is the minimum and what is the maximum, it highlights. So that is one thing that we can use for window functions. And coming to the last activity.
Hey, Jagadish, 1 second.
Yes.
Can you please show the formula once again, please? That
Okay.
the calculated field. Okay, so okay, window maximum. Okay. Okay, got it. And then so there's a color accordingly, right? Got it. But here, see, when you say window max, right? So have you set the table calculation to pane or something that you were able to differentiate between each of those things?
Yeah, so by default, what Tableau uses is based on the view that we have, it kind of automatically figures out that we are trying to go table down. That's why I didn't bother. But if you check it here, compute using, it's already doing table down.
Got it. Understood.
That's why it figured out that, hey, I should calculate maximum and minimum on each of the columns.
Understood. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and okay, so we'll move to the last activity today. So this is a little complicated one, so I'll do it myself. I'll explain what we are trying to do here. So I have order date here on my x-axis, each and every day, and my respective sales. Now my task here is, let's say, if you can see my calendar over here, we are on Thursday in this particular week. Okay, now I want to show an average value of my last week. For example, in my entire this week, from 26th to 1st of this week, I need to show the average sales value for the last week. So that is from 19th to 25th. Likewise, I need to show something like that. Let me show you how the graph looks like. This is how the graph looks like. So the actual sales are in orange, and the blue sales are the average values that we want. So in this particular week, it is basically going to the previous week, and it is taking the all the values and getting average for those values and putting it in this particular week. So that's why you can see a constant line for each week, average value, and we want to achieve this sort of thing. Now I'll just show you how to do that instead of, since we're running out of time. I have created two calculated fields. Number one, so it's clear that I have to use a window function. I have to use, based on my current week, I have to jump back to if I'm on certain Thursday. The logic I'm trying to explain the logic. So when I am on certain day, I have to go back 1 week, number one, step one. And once I go back to 1 week, I have to find the Sunday in that week. So for example, when I'm in 23, I have to jump back to Sunday because I want the average value from Sunday in the last week. So I have to jump back to Sunday, and I have to calculate the number of days from this Sunday to my current day. So from 19th to 30th, how many days are there? So thereby, if I know how many days are, if I calculate those number of days, then I can simply give that number as an offset. So for each day, on this day, hey, go back to this, let's say this is 4 and this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go back to 8 days. So it will calculate from here. When I'm here, I'll tell him, hey, go back to 7 days. So it will automatically come here. So that is what we are trying to achieve. So this becomes my starting value, and then my ending value should be simple. So starting from here plus 6. So I should end till Saturday. So my starting value and ending value. So now all I have to do is calculate this starting value and ending value. So I have already did that. So if you see my previous value, so this acts as a starting value. Calculation is little lengthy, but it's very simple. Let me explain that. Okay, let's come to this particular part, the first part. Okay, here what are we doing here is, as I said, we are taking the current, we are taking the current order date, and we are subtracting 1 week from it. So if we are on this Thursday, we are just going back to last week Thursday. Once we go to last week Thursday, what we are doing here is we are using date time function to truncate from that Thursday to that particular week Sunday. So we are using Sunday as a week starting. So it will basically truncate to the first day of that week. Since we are using Sunday as a week starting, it will automatically jump to that Sunday. So this will take us to that Sunday state in the last week. And from there, what we are doing, we need to get the difference in number of days from that particular last week Sunday to current day. So what I did, I used date difference function from the current date, which is order date, to this last Sunday. So it will give me number of days, this particular part till here, it will give me number of days from last Sunday to current day. And I'm just taking average and int. I'll tell you why we are using average later. But and I'm since average can produce what do you say, decimal values, so we don't the window function doesn't take decimal values. It will only take int for start and end value. So we are just converting as int and giving it. So this particular previous value will give us for every day what is the number of days in difference from the last week Sunday to that day. And then I'll use similarly the next value. This is supposed to be the end value. So whatever the days that has been given by previous value, just use +6 to get to the end of that week, end of the last week. So based on that, if I have my start value and end value, all I need to do is now I have to create my window function value. So I'll come here, window average, and since I need average, say sum of sales, I can use calculated fields that I calculated here. So start from the whatever the value that the previous value calculated field gives you, and end at next whatever the value that my next values calculated field gives you. So so once I do that and I click OK and I pull it back here, I got my my value graph. Let me make it dual axis, synchronize axis, and there we go. Is the calculation part clear? It is little tricky, but all I want you to take away from this particular activity is you can use calculated fields as well in the window function for start and end values to achieve something like this. So basically this average is showing for the average of all the last week. This is the average for this week. This is the average for this week, and likewise. Is that clear?
Yeah, good. So one quick question, Jagdish. So is there no way for us to directly get to a week, for example? I think, see, what we're doing is we are figuring out which day it is, and then based on that, we are going back to the Sunday. And then obviously we have to, I lost a little bit in between, but similarly, I would assume that you would go to the ending of that week and then you would do the average, right? That's what we are doing, correct?
Yeah, so based on our, yeah.
So, is there no function like a week number or anything like that that can help us here?
We have week number function.
Okay.
That will give us the week number, but I don't think that would help us here, because for every day, for example, this is all 1 week, okay, and for each of these days, my start value and end value should be changing. That part is clear, right?
No, yeah, that is clear. But see, I think if you can, I understood the logic of how you arrived at this one.
Got it.
So let's say if you can do something like this, I'm just giving you the logic and see if that works, right?
Okay.
So we can say if the, so do an average of, okay, sum of sales, where the week number equals the week of the current day.
Week number equals week of the current day.
Correct.
That will, I think, that
it is like an average of, basically.
That will give us the average of the current week, right?
Average of the current week, yes.
Okay. That we can achieve, but only thing is the week numbers that we have. Let's say, for example, let me just quickly open. So order date. So based on the date of the okay.
Basically, that will give you that bunch, right? For each of the week, it will give you a specific number. We can potentially use this. I think my question is answered. Mm-hmm. That hey, there is probably a way for us to do this, right?
There is a way. Only thing that I am thinking could be a problem is, for example, these weeks are already fixed for a certain day. I think so. For example, the week starting for a day, we cannot. I don't think we can change for these numbers. So, so like we did in the calculation field, we use Sunday to start as a week starting, right?
Correct.
We don't know if this week that this is presenting as week 2, if it is starting from Sunday.
Got it. Understood. Yeah, I got it. I think so. As long as it allows that, right? Then it becomes sort of flexible. Whichever day that particular company treats as a week, you can potentially give that, right? So it can be Sunday or maybe Monday or whatever that that flexibility it can potentially.
Yeah. And in this particular task, we are actually not doing the average of the current week, but we are doing the average of the last week. I think.
Yeah. Understood. Okay. It's also average of the last week, is it?
These blue lines is not the average of these values.
Okay.
But it's the average of the previous week values.
Understood. Yeah. Even in that case, you just go back.
Correct. Yeah. It's on the similar logic. Yeah.
Similar logic. Yeah. But good. Yeah, I got it. I got the answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions, Akhil? I think Jairam or something you were saying something. Okay. So those are the few window functions, and I just wanted to know you that window functions. You can use parameters. You can use. Earlier we only saw fixed values like -2, -3 as start and end values. Then we used first and last functions. Then here we used parameters to make them dynamic as based on user input, and also we used calculated fields in those start and end values. So if calculated fields are there, then that's a huge plus in terms of how we can make them dynamic as well. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get you from here. And the number of applications today we saw is a very limited case. There can be a number of applications where you might want to use. I just tried to make you comfortable in how the function can be used in different ways. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today's session.